afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. We'll just have a little bit of fun while we're waiting for people to join. If you could just throw in the chat where you're joining from, it's always fun to kind of get a distribution. I'm in sunny Bend, Oregon, so throw yours in there and welcome. I got the squeaky chair today. Hi, Michelle, Baltimore, Maryland. Yes. Dane, is that Eudora, Kansas? I don't know that one. Welcome. We'll give it another couple minutes here. Diana, you're in the Bay Area. You're in San Rafael, right? Yes, San Rafael in the house. I was there Monday and Tuesday. So awesome. Nice weather down there. And Tony.
And Dallas, Texas.
That's right. I was waiting for you to throw the Texas.
Nice and cloudy. It's been cloudy, then sunny the next day, then cloudy the next day. So back and forth, back and forth.
But it's always 80s and 90s right now, isn't it?
It usually is, but it's been pretty nice the last several weeks. So it's been really, really nice. And we're trying to enjoy it before the summer gets here and it gets back to 100.
Yeah, it gets, I mean, well, I'm not wired for that. I got to have the mountains and the cool air. I would shrivel up. It's nice to visit, the nice hot spots and, drink in the hand, toes in the sand, but boy, I got to escape. Yeah, Michelle, hit 30s last night. I think we were probably in our 20s. We're in a weird state here. Right now we're going to hit a high of 50, and then the lows are anywhere from 18 to 28 degrees Fahrenheit. But we have had, and it's kind of strange, we have had 82-degree weather in January. So it's not predictable. It's in the mountains. We went out and played in the river. The water was still, ice cold, and then it went back and snowed the next day. And in fact, it's supposed to snow today. So
What?
We don't know. It's Russian roulette for weather. So
I think the US record for the biggest drop, I looked it up. I think it went from 100 to 0 at one part in history. I said the big drop. I've definitely seen some big swings. I think we had one last year that was 55 degrees or 60 degrees swing within a couple hours, which quite shocking. Now we've had some here in Texas where it was, frozen. We had some freezing weather. It was like 32, but the next day it was 85. So next morning you get up, it's 85.
Yeah, weird weather. Well, let's get started. Well, Sean, why don't we? I can't even talk this morning.
All right.
I want to welcome everybody. So welcome to today's community conversation. This is a Civil 3D and InfraWorks collaboration discussion with Tony. I'm Sean Hurley. I'm your community host. And community conversations are virtual meetups featuring expert speakers from across the community. Sessions range from deep dives, tips and tricks, and live demonstrations on products such as AutoCAD, Revit, Dynamo, Fusion 360, Civil 3D, and InfraWorks here. So this is nice to have some civil stuff in here. Anyway, all experience levels, beginning to experts are welcome. All right, let's get going, Tony. There's some fun ones from lawyers in here too. Always fun. So
There you go.
Safe harbor. There we go. I'll boil it down real easily. If we make any forward-leaning statements about future ideas or developments in the products, just know that only make your purchasing decisions based on the products as they are shipping today. So if Tony says that they're going to put Texas Longhorns, big horns on Civil 3D and InfraWorks in the future, don't believe it. Don't make your purchasing decisions based on that. Or if by buying InfraWorks, you're going to get perfect weather. Nah, don't believe it. So anyway, that's all that is. I have to put a fun spin on it. It's the lawyer stuff's never really that exciting and fun. Before we begin, lines are muted to reduce the background noise. We do invite you to share your camera view if you feel comfortable with that. Kind of gives us a virtual in-person kind of feel, which we will be hopefully doing at AU. We'll do some community conversations there. We'll have live in person as well as people online. So it'll be kind of fun to see people and, you know, maybe be able to throw paper at Tony or something if he's presenting. Raise your hand using the Zoom function down in the bottom right. It's in the little reactions there. Or you can ask your questions in the chat. So adding people as we go here. I will post the link to the YouTube recording of this in the event page where you registered. So stay tuned there, as well as some helpful links. And let's see, that's about it. Let's introduce our speaker. Next, please.
All right.
Here we go. Man, I'm Sean Hurley. I'm Autodesk Community Engagement Manager. I'm a geeky technologist in Bend, Oregon. I will say for the civil-minded here, my son just got his degree in civil engineering as well as a couple others. And so he's going to go out and earn his way. But the cool thing is he got it with full honors and a full ride scholarship. So it was easy on my wallet. That was nice.
Yep.
So.
And my name is Tony Carcamo, president of Civil CAD Learning Solutions, and also president of the DFW BIM Infrastructure User Group. I'm also an AutoCAD Expert Elite member. Doesn't mean I have all the answers. I will say that in the beginning. And so AU speaker and members to a lot of Autodesk committees and groups and stuff like that. So also write articles on the Augie magazine off and on. And a big tech guy, so I love gadgets. So my office is pretty much like a little mini Best Buy.
And you're now a Community Voices blogger, so you're on the community blog. Community
Voices bloggers, yep. I'm also a group Autodesk group leader. I think they're calling the Autodesk community group leaders now. I'm excited about the new change, so we'll see how that goes. And hopefully my class will get accepted for AU this year. Typically I don't teach AU. That's usually my downtime since I teach year round everywhere across America. So
well, everybody here vote for his class. I think, is the voting still open?
Yeah, I think it's closed now. So
darn it. All right. Well, hopefully everybody here voted for you.
I submitted a class for doing a large 28 building apartment complex in InfraWorks, doing it in 40 minutes or less, or 45 minutes or less, so.
Awesome. Well, you're ranking up the badges now. You're going to get all the badges, the community badges.
I could actually probably say, hey, we're going to start using the little military badges, little square ones. So, all right. So let's go ahead and get started. For those of you that work on the civil, hopefully you are taking advantage of InfraWorks. If you're doing simple concept plans and AutoCAD Civil 3D or even AutoCAD, you can take some of that data and bring it into InfraWorks and create some 3D models, or even doing some preliminary design in InfraWorks. So today I'm going to kind of cover some of those little simple things you can do that can go back and forth between Civil 3D and InfraWorks. So in this version, I'm actually using version 2023. I'm using all the latest products. So I have Civil 3D 2023 and InfraWorks 2023. I don't have Revit installed here. I should have installed it to show you how you can take some of the bridge design from InfraWorks straight to Revit and back and forth, but I forgot to install the Revit. But that's another cool feature you can take advantage of is doing your final design in Revit and pushing it back to InfraWorks. So. All right, and if you have any questions, be sure to pop it on the question section, the chat, and I'll do my best to answer the questions. We'll pause here and there. And this exercise, I'm actually going to use a small subdivision that I worked on years back. Did some modification to it, but we're going to use this one as an example. So here, I'm going to do some simple road designs to show different methods of how you can bring that basic concept, center line of the roads, into InfraWorks and bring it back into Civil 3D. And in the next example, we will actually take the same road alignment and build a roundabout in InfraWorks and then bring it back into Civil 3D where you can do your final design. And it's going to be coming in as a corridor. And if we have time, we'll also go into creating watersheds
and our road system, our pipe networks for our corridor component roads, and bring it back into Civil 3D and show you how you can use that process and bringing that in. So, all right, so let me go share my screen here, stop sharing and share my application. Share.
I always love seeing the Star Wars memorabilia. It kind of looks like you're in some sort of spaceship there too.
Oh, you see it at nighttime. It's lit up. So now can, let's see here. Can everybody see my screen, the application in Civil 3D?
Yes, sir.
All right. So one of the things I like to use Civil 3D for is when I'm doing basic concepts and I don't have the survey yet. I've created a subdivision here and I want to do some, bring in some existing terrain from InfraWorks. And that's something I do for all my projects, is bringing in that terrain data from InfraWorks straight into Civil 3D. So I can do some preliminary profiles, or you can do the profiling in InfraWorks. So the first step I'm going to do is actually go into InfraWorks, and everybody can see InfraWorks. And can y'all see the InfraWorks?
Yep, sorry, I had to hit the mute button, darn it.
Just to make sure. So if I was going to work on this project, I would go to Model Builder and I would go find my property, zoom into it and select the area and give it a name and go download it. So after about 5 minutes, the pace depends on how big the model is, how big of a selection you selected. It could take a minute or it could take 5 minutes. So I've already downloaded the location of this preliminary site plan. Here it is. This is the location. I'm going to do some basic design. Now, some people are probably asking, where does the data from InfraWorks come from? So for the elevation, that actually comes from the National Elevation Data Set. That's an NED. If you go to the InfraWorks help menu and type in about InfraWorks Modeler, it will tell you where that data is. Imagery comes from Microsoft Bing Maps. And then the road and highway comes from OpenStreetMaps, sorry. And the buildings also come from OpenStreetMaps. Now you can go into your Esri account and link in there and grab some data, some free data from Esri, and also bring it into InfraWorks also. So if you have an account, I highly encourage you to go set up an account with Esri, and you can use that integration tool to bring in other data right into InfraWorks. So if I was going to work on this project, I would come in here, I'd download the model. That's all I need to do. And then I need to close the model to bring in the surface. So I'm going to bring in the surface first. So I'm going to close it. Because and you need to actually close InfraWorks to bring into Civil 3D. So here's my model. I'm now going to go into Civil 3D and go into my Insert tab and say Open InfraWorks Model. And now I'm going to browse to that SQLite file. So if I go browse to that file that it created, here it is. It actually puts it into a folder called Autodesk 360. There it is. I'm going to click on it and say Open. Now, I've already assigned a coordinate system into my Civil 3D model, and I'm also assigned a coordinate system into my InfraWorks model also already. I'm kind of matching those together. Now, at the bottom, you can select what you want to bring into this site plan. So if I click on the Refine Selection Set, it can look at that SQLite and see what is it going to bring in. I can have a little checkbox. So this usually takes about 30 seconds to open. I don't know if it does any faster than anybody else's computer, but here we go. This is what it sees in that InfraWorks model. And it actually sees two surfaces, the natural terrain and the road surface for those planner roads, basically the simple roads, concept roads. And here they are here. I don't want the roads, I just want the surfaces. Okay, and I'm gonna click OK. And I'm just gonna bring that in. It's an open model. And here we go. Now it's using the default style, surface style, when it brings it in. So I'm gonna click on this style and go to, I'm using my quick properties and say, okay, this is going to be my existing surface. And then for the roads, There's also one right here. As you can see here, there is the road. So I'm going to go into my tool space and I'm going to create a new surface real quick. I'm going to combine the two. So create, let's say a GIS EG. Okay. And I'm going to assign the style for this. So existing. I'm going to turn off those two surfaces that came in from InfraWorks. I'm going to turn those off. I don't really need to see them because I'm going to combine them to no display. Also to no display. This is the road one. Then I'm going to go into my EG, that GIS EG surface I just created. I'm going to paste those together. I'm going to paste the natural ground first and then paste in my road. So here we go. And now we have our surface in here. So that's one very simple tip. If you're waiting for your survey and you need to start doing some drainage analysis, go into InfraWorks and go and download that terrain data and start analyzing your drainage, start doing some preliminary design. I was just noticing, yeah, Matt's comment. So, but highly encourage, use it. I've been telling everybody that I teach that, hey, if you ain't using InfraWorks, go use it for this one simple step. It actually will save you time. So now you don't have to wait for that drawing. I think this model surface that comes from InfraWorks is actually better than the USGS maps that you get, from the website. I love the way that it separates. Maybe you just want the road surface. So I do like that it comes in. So that's, it knows how smooth it looks, the contours too. It doesn't look jagged and stuff. It's very smooth. See the road? You can tell if the road is flat or if it's even crowned when it brings it in. So that's one of the pluses that I really, really like with InfraWorks. Now let's talk about roads. So let me close this. Actually turn this to no display. And let's say I've laid out some simple road center lines here. This is my basic concept of my roads. I already got some alignments in here. I got 2 alignments, actually 3 alignments. Where's the other one? Right here. Okay. So I'm going to show you 3 different methods you can bring that road into InfraWorks. One method is to import the AutoCAD Civil 3D file. That way it recognizes the alignments and say, okay, we're going to put in a component road. Or I'm going to take this, select similar, move it to back, because I do have a polyline representing my center of my road. Okay, and I do the map export command. And I'm going to show you the differences. Oh, kind of froze up there. Sorry. Map export. And if I select, I'm going to create a new one. And let's say it's a shape file. And we'll call it street center line. Okay, so I've got one created just to save some time here. Street center line. And it's basically the polylines that represent my center of my road. I got 3 of them. This one coming down and this one coming across, and then one across the top here. All right. And I also created a SDS file, and we're going to do some comparison of what that looks like in InfraWorks. So I'm going to bring up InfraWorks back up. Let me reopen it up. And I'm going to create some, while this is opening, I'm going to actually create different proposals. That way I'm not manipulating the existing conditions of the model. All right, so up top is your proposals. I can click on the pull down and say add. I'm going to call this site plan 1. And I'll create another one. We'll say site plan 2 and maybe one more. Site plan 3. Okay. So I'm going to switch this back over to site plan 1, and I'm going to bring in that shape file of the roads. And let's see what happens when we bring that in. So I'm going to go into my data sources panel, and underneath the import tool, I'm going to say shape, and then browse to my file that I exported already out. I think I put it here. There we go. Street center lines. I'm going to say open. I'm going to need to configure this data. So I'm going to double click here to configure and then go onto the style and say this is going to be a road in here. And then what style do I want to use? I'm going to say for now, I'm going to use this street with sidewalks in here. Click OK. And then I'm going to go into notice here. I already recognize it's actually got a coordinate system already assigned. I do want to drape this over the existing terrain for now. And let's say close and refresh. So as you can see here, it built this planter road. These are planter roads, not component roads. But everywhere there's a curve, you see all these little vertices, something I don't want. So how do you get rid of it? You want to convert it into a component road and you'll get rid of all these little vertices and stuff. So that's one example how to bring in one method, how to bring in the roads. Let's look at the other method. So if we go change our proposal, same thing. If I go back into my data sources and go to my pull down, we can also do an XML file, land XML file. We have a SDF file. Let's go look at the SDF file. I think I've created one already. No, it looks like I didn't create one, but I think I'll go ahead and do the Civil 3D one. So I'm going to import the Civil 3D model and hopefully it'll recognize our alignments that are already built into our Civil 3D model. So if I go back into my pull down and say Autodesk Civil 3D DWG. So if there's alignments and corridors, pipe networks, smart objects, it's going to recognize some of those objects and bring it in, convert it into InfraWorks. So I'm going to go into Autodesk Civil 3D DWG, point to my file. Let's see here. File we're using. Okay, where did I put it? Oh, this one. Okay, open. All right, so this is what it sees. It does recognize surfaces in the drawing. This was actually a survey surface and this was proposed. I'm going to uncheck this. All I care about is that alignment. So it sees it as a road. We can turn it into roads here for those 3 alignments. I'm going to click OK. I'm now going to configure it by double clicking on it. And in here, I can assign the style that I want for this component road that's going to bring it in. Click on the style. And here we go. I actually created one called 2 lanes, but I can go into assemblies and select one from the preset styles in here if I wanted to. So there's a 2 lane here. So let's see the custom one that I created, 2 lanes with curb, I think. Let's see if we can make this bigger, large icon. That way you can see the actual part. 2 lanes with curb, we'll use that one. And then we're going to actually go into drape this into our image, terrain image, and say close and refresh. So here we go. As you can see, we now have component roads that have been brought in. I can change the parameters of my radiuses for my turns, or I can change the intersection, say, hey, this can be a tractor trailer coming across through here, so it'll make the radius bigger. I can add some bridges in here. So if I come in here and say, okay, this is going to be now 40. Okay. I can now come in here and do a profile, a quick profile design. So if I say show profile, show design speeds, and show profile. And if I go into my settings here, say, okay, show existing ground, you can kind of see the ground here, but I could add a low point, say, add vertical curve at this location. Put in here a low point so you can see it in the model. We'll put a curve here. There we go. All right, so I got a simple curve in here. I'm gonna make it a little bit larger here. And I can also add a bridge, but let's actually raise this up a little bit. Oh, where'd it go?
You got to select your road, Tony.
Yeah, sorry. Thought I had it selected already. I'm going to raise this up actually now. And I'm going to put a bridge just for now to show you what that's going to look like when you bring it into Civil 3D. All right, so I'm going to come in here, go to create, and say we're going to go to bridge, and we're going to select it. And we're going to start it from here and go across to here. Get a few seconds. Or more than a few seconds. And it typically doesn't take this long. Maybe I got too many things open.
Well, it's faster than DOT though, to be honest.
Yeah. All right. So we do have a bridge now underneath here. We can change the actual parameters and assemblies here. Notice we have different types of bridge that we can switch out. Now, you can take this information from, let's see here, let me, and go to publish. So you do publish civil and say create a new link. What that's going to do is going to open up, correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, take it straight to Revit. And then within Revit, like for the structural engineers can go and finalize design and then publish it and bring it back into InfraWorks. So InfraWorks is more, the bridge is more of a preliminary design, but you would probably do more of your final design in Revit. So, but how would you do it? Right here, this button here, create a new link. You can update it once they're done and bring it back and forth between Revit and InfraWorks. So, all right. Now I can change what I want to see, these check boxes if I don't want to see the road or the deck or the piers. Now, if you want to see the piers, you can actually change your visual settings to engineering view. That way you can see through the ground. All right. But let's bring now this into Civil 3D and see what that looks like. All right. What would this look like if we brought it into Civil 3D? So I'm going to close our model. All right. And go back into our Civil 3D drawing. And we're going to bring it right into this drawing. We're going to go back into the insert and say open InfraWorks model. Click the SQLite file and say open. And now say, let's go click on the refine selection set. Let's see what I have selected already. I do already have the two trains, so maybe I don't want to bring that in. So that's why I clicked on it, because it's already in my model already. Come on. Yeah, you see it doesn't take this long.
It's probably Zoom. I mean, Zoom does mess with your resources quite a bit.
It's not that big of a file. So come on. It's a hit and miss. Sometimes this thing will open up this little dialog box within a couple seconds, and sometimes it takes longer. All right, so you see this planner roads. That's everything outside my model, those actual surrounding roads. I don't want to bring all those surrounding roads in here. Here's my existing surface. I don't want that. But I do see the component roads here and the intersection, and then also the bridge. So I click OK and open model. Now it'll convert those component roads into a corridor road. There you go. So here's the bridge. As you can see here, if I click on this bridge, let's go look at everything here. Select similar, go to object viewer. There's the bridge that we just brought in. And then there's our corridor for our road that we built right here. Now, it didn't do the intersection here. You need to build the intersection. I don't know if we could still do the intersection in InfraWorks or not. Correct me if I'm wrong, Matt. I don't think it can.
Yeah, I don't believe so.
Yeah, so you would have to split this up right here and rebuild the intersection. So, but if you do make some changes in this design, you can now bring it back into InfraWorks. All right, so this is now how do you put the actual bridge into a profile, Civil 3D profile? You can actually project the object, just like you're projecting a mailbox or a tree or a fire hydrant or a light pole. The same tools, you can project this into your profile. Let's also go look at other tools now back in InfraWorks. Go back and open up InfraWorks. Any questions so far?
We do have just a general one from Victor. It's, does InfraWorks and Civil 3D 2023 run faster and better than 2022?
To me, it's about the same speed. I think I posted in my user group, you know, how long it took to open, but I haven't seen any really difference, honestly, in my end. Now, I can't speak for other types of projects, you know, airport projects, big highway projects. I can't speak for those, oil and gas. But I haven't seen any real difference, honestly. I think it's been about the same now. I don't know of anybody else that's running 2023 right now. I've only experienced one crash in Civil 3D. I think it was more user error. I had too many drawings open, too many things going on. InfraWorks, I don't think I've yet ever experienced a lockup or a crash.
I would think that graphics on large model graphics are faster. They did a whole bunch of work under the hood for that. So and that would have been taken into Civil 3D. So I would imagine that's there. I don't know about InfraWorks. So.
Okay. Yeah. Let's also look, let's see, go back into, let's see, let's do a drainage, actually a roundabout. Okay. So I'm going to convert this intersection into a roundabout. Now, yes, I can do it in Civil 3D, you know, by creating our profiles and using the roundabout tool in Civil 3D or the roundabout tool built into vehicle tracking. But if you want to play around the different, you know, versions of the roundabout, this is where I would do it. I would come in here and say, okay, I'm going to convert this into a roundabout. So underneath our stack over here, we'll go into our junction style and select roundabout. And this is going to use the Federal Highway Administrative Design Standards. And notice here from the list, we have a huge selection of different types of roundabouts. So here I can go back and say, okay, this could be a rural, it could be an urban concept, double lane. And you can change the interior dimensions of the roundabout. You can make it longer, shorter, well, actually longer, not shorter. But it's not meant for a final design. It's more get you started and then push into Civil 3D for final design. I love it because if I'm playing around with a design and a developer say, hey, can we fit this type of roundabout in this area? Well, you can bring in some of the line work that represents your right of way and easement, bring it right into Civil 3D as maybe as a STF file to represent line work, and then start playing around with different versions of this roundabout. Very user friendly. Come on. And change the parameters. And then once you're done, okay, we're going to close it out. I say I'm going to use this version here. I'm going to use this roundabout. Go in here and close this out and come back to my Civil 3D file. And let me delete what's already in here. Actually, let me just go back to the undo. So when I brought this in, and open doesn't crash. There we go. Good. All right. So I'm going to bring in that roundabout and corridor into this model. Go back into my open InfraWorks model, browse to SQLite file. And it's going to go open model. I think I got everything checked off. Let me check. So we don't want any planner roads. Okay, all right. And let's just say open. Should take a few seconds. It did bring in those other surfaces. And I will say that roundabouts are starting to get a little popular here in Dallas. I'm starting to see them every now and then. The last few, probably last 6 years, we're starting to see some roundabout designs. Some of them are
Tony,
traffic
I live in a
circles.
town that is almost entirely roundabouts.
Oh, really?
And the unfortunate thing is we get a lot of tourists too. And so they have no idea what they're doing. So not from the design, but the actual
If
user
people know how to drive
experience.
around it, it's great. If they don't, then it just does, it defeats the purpose. You know,
They
for
pull
people
up and they
stopping.
stop and they put their blinkers on. Like, don't do that.
Yep. Now notice here that it actually built this corridor across through the roundabout. I'm actually going to grab the grip and slide it back for this portion of the road. And the same thing here. I can split it or I can pull it back in here. And let's say if I split the region in here. Oh, come on, split region. Come on. Split region. There we go. And I'm going to use this to slide this section back and use this grip to slide this one back before the roundabout, where the roundabout actually ends. So you can come back and connect to it. Okay. But the beauty about this, look at this, it actually built the corridor in here, and I can go into my roundabout editor and continue making edits in here in this roundabout. And you can see if I go into my corridor properties, we have our corridors, and then there's our roundabout. So if I go to my properties, you'll see our roundabout tools, and you can continue making final revisions to the roundabout in here. So if you're playing around with ideas, I highly encourage going into InfraWorks, export just your center lines of your road, bring it into InfraWorks, and then bring it back into Civil 3 and do your final designs. So really cool stuff. Okay, so let's talk about some of the pipe networks in there. Now you can bring in pipe networks from InfraWorks into Civil 3D. You can use some of those infrastructure part editor parts and bring it right into Civil 3D. And you can also take it from Civil 3D into InfraWorks also. So I'm going to show you how to design something in InfraWorks with the pipe networks. So I'm going to go back and open this up. And let's do some drainage analysis. All right, so I'm going to open up that model. Second. All right, so we have our road here. I'm going to build another road quick. Component road, and I'm going to say, what style do I want to use? Okay, let's do this 2-lane component road and build it here and then connect it right there. Okay, and then let me look at the profile real quick for this road. I'm going to put a low point in here. Now, let it regenerate. Okay, and then, okay. All right, so now let's build a catchment area. So the key is we want the software to recognize this component road. That way we can put some inlets in here. So I'm going to go into my analyze and go into watersheds, create a watershed. This uses credits just to let everybody know. So I'm going to put one right here, the low point through the creek. Oh, don't do that. Sorry about that. Let's try that again. And then I'm going to actually lower my grid spacing to get more accurate model, hit enter. And come on, there we go. Now, sometimes it may error out. That's why you want to slide that grid spacing a little bit to a lower number.
Hey, Tony, real quick.
Yeah.
InfraWorks doesn't use credits for watershed analysis or profile optimizations anymore with the
No more?
20
Okay,
with
awesome.
the 23 version. Yeah, I don't think there's anything in there now that requires credits.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's
Yeah,
really good.
for sure.
It's really good news. Okay, so I want to put some where's my low point? I was really wanting a low point here in this profile. And I think I put it in the wrong spot. Well, let's see what it does. We'll see what it does for our storm system. So I'm now going to click on this component road and I'm going to say drainage and say set. Actually, no, we're going to go into size network. Let's say size drainage network. Like pipe. Oh, I need to create the pipe. I don't think it caught the road. Let's see here. Add structure. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Sorry. That's what I meant to do here. Sorry. Right click and say drainage and say size drainage network. And this is going to be based off your rainfall intensity. So you would actually, I'm going to size this for 1 to 100 year flood study. But here's your rainfall intensity charts. You can actually create your own chart based on county or whatever regulations in here to do your hydraulics. Now here, we can set the pipe coverage, the type of material of the pipe. And so I'm going to click on use the defaults for now. And let's see if it actually builds something here. I don't know if it'll build because I don't think I had any low points on my road here. Let's try this again. And set drainage network. And I don't think it did it because I didn't have any low points. That's in here. Let's see, did I save a drawing that had one already? Just a second. It's at the other end. Let's try this again. Drainage. Okay, I'm going to come back to this, see why I didn't create my pipe networks. But if you actually, got your pipe network actually created, you can actually come back into Civil 3D. And when you bring it back in, if you want to use the parts that Civil InfraWorks is using, you want to go back into your set pipe network catalog and make sure you're using the generic, those new parts. Generic drainage with pipe connections. That way it's taking advantage of those parts in there. Now, I noticed when I brought it in, it defaulted to the standard pipe. So I actually had to switch the style to get the part to come in when I built it first time I brought it in. So just let you know that sometimes it might use a default pipe style and you'll have to switch the pipe styles in there. Now you can also create generic pipes in InfraWorks. Let me show you real quick. So, and bring it into Civil 3D. Let me rotate my model. I think I'm upside down. And if I wanted to create my own pipes in here, I can go into the create environment, actually here, drain, sorry. Oh, this is what I was looking for, sorry. The road. Drainage network. And blah, blah. Let's see if it'll build my on this now. No, it's not what I'm. Anyway, let me build my manual culverts. So pipes, I can select the certain pipe styles that I want, go into cyan and say, okay, I'm going to build a pipe from here to here. And this would actually be a lot longer way to do it. I can go in my culverts now and say it's a pipe connector and double click at the end point of this line to put a manhole here and here. Okay, I'm going to lower my pipe. So if I go into my properties, come on. There we go. The offset elevation, I can lower it or I can change it. So let's see if I can change the value at each end. So if I come in and say this is now 618, and then on the other end, 617. Okay. Don't think this is connected. There it is. Now it moved down. Okay, so let's say you laid all this out. You manually laid out these pipes in here in your drawing. It will now bring into Civil 3D. So let me close this. Still kind of curious why this didn't build my drainage. I'll try it one more time. Drainage network. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Parts, blah, blah. Okay. Yeah, didn't want to build it. And let me close it and go back to Civil 3D and bring this in real quick. And so I'm going to just close the file real quick. I'm not going to save it and just reopen the file. And so, and it is going to be my site base and then bring it right into Civil 3D through, and this will be the last step here to show y'all. Okay, light. Okay, and then
you still have the model
let's have it open, yeah. Let's repoint to it. Open. This should go away, okay. And let me make sure that my pipes are checked off. And this will be the last thing I'll show y'all. Running out of time. And you can also take a corridor, like if you have a subdivision, you actually corridor the whole thing and bring it right into InfraWorks. You can actually do that too, and they'll recognize it. So here you see those pipe connectors, and here I actually saw that. I can bring it in here, and let's say open. And where did I draw all those pipes? Which road did I build it on? I forgot where I drew it. Was it on this road or this road? Oh, here we go. There it is right there. You can see the manhole, but I did notice that the pipe is using some a different style. That's why the pipe's not showing up, because they went defaulted to another pipe, but the structure is there. You can see this is the structure I drew in and built it as a Civil 3D structure. Object viewer. Okay. And that's, one method you can do. You can lay out manually, or you can have Civil 3D size the pipes for you in InfraWorks and actually create an outlet structure and actually do some of the hydraulic information for you. And you can spit it back into Civil 3D and maybe even use the analyze gravity network tool too, to double check it also. So okay, I'll pick the last questions. Sorry, I couldn't go in depth. I just had to show some of the tools you can take back and forth between Civil 3D. So surfaces, corridors, pipe networks, the drainage pattern can actually, here's the drainage watershed here. So I can now turn that into a catchment or even a partial to represent my drainage watershed patterns. So questions so far?
Did you show the object settings? I don't know.
We
Sorry.
got to really wrap up fast.
Yeah.
We got another one right in behind us. And they're waiting right now.
So, but sorry, guys.
The Dynamo guys can wait.
So, man, I appreciate it. Maybe I can come back and do a part 2 and get more in depth with y'all on some of these tools and stuff. I just want to give you a general idea of what you can do back and forth with Civil 3D and InfraWorks and even Revit. So
that would be awesome. And yeah, Victor's saying, I want to see the cul-de-sac too.
The cul-de-sac. I can do a part 2 with cul-de-sac. Yeah, I could probably make it work. Yeah.
This is awesome.
Yep.
All right.
I gave you some ideas, everyone. So, and yeah, if y'all want to reach out to me, I can put it in my chat.
Can you throw the deck back up, please?
Oh, yeah, yep.
We'll roll through those. I mean, honestly, a lot of these technical topics,
Yeah.
you know, we can go a long time.
Oh, yeah, and this is different methods for how you can import some stuff there. I forgot to show you that slide. But right there, or
Yeah, let's go to the next one.
okay.
Just want to wrap up and show you different ways you can connect to the community. There's the community forums, the groups, the community voices, where Tony is one of the authors. So there's a lot of great content on many products and more being added all the time. There's the student group hub. Don't forget the next community conversation. And hopefully Tony gets a part 2 for cul-de-sacs and more.
Yeah.
Next, please. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Tony. And when you exit here, there'll be a survey link. It's a really short, painful one, or unpainful one, not painful. But it does help us figure out what kind of content. Make your suggestions of what kind of content for Civil you'd like to see, and how we can improve things. And we listen to your comments, and I will provide that feedback to Tony and all the speakers. So thank you. It's good to see some familiar faces. Victor, I owe you an email, Victor.
A lot of familiar faces I see online. So.
What do you owe me an email for?
Because you want to be I think you applied to be a blog author on Voices.
I did.
There we go.
So where's my email, man?
I owe it to you. It'll be there before Friday.
Yep. Hey, Matt.
Outstanding.
I also want to say, go ahead.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, Matt, I appreciate you helping out too.
See you, Matt.
Glad I could carry the convo for you.